The image of the US president with his iconic briefcase, often referred to as the nuclear football, is one that many people are familiar with, but few fully understand. This simple-looking bag, weighing about 45 pounds and designed to be bulletproof and resistant to explosions, is, in fact, one of the most powerful tools in the world. It has the potential to end or alter the course of civilization itself. This seemingly ordinary leather satchel is no ordinary briefcase. Known formally as the Presidential Emergency Satchel, it has been part of the US president's daily arsenal since the 1960s, carrying the weight of ensuring that America's nuclear arsenal is ready for deployment at a moment's notice. This briefcase goes wherever the president goes, offering access to launch nuclear strikes if necessary. It's not just a symbol of power, but a highly classified tool of ultimate authority. But how did this all begin, and why is it so important? Origins of the nuclear football. The story of the nuclear football dates back to one of the most perilous moments in modern history, the Cuban Missile Crisis of 1962. During this tense period of the Cold War, the world stood on the brink of nuclear war. The Soviet Union had placed nuclear missiles on Cuban soil, dangerously close to the United States. As the US was forced to navigate this terrifying reality, President John F. Kennedy was faced with the possibility of a nuclear strike, something that could have devastated America in minutes. At the time, the US had a relatively limited warning system. If a nuclear strike was launched from the Soviet Union, the president would have about half an hour to make a decision and reach a secure command center, such as the White House's Situation Room or the Raven Rock Complex, a hardened underground facility in Pennsylvania. However, as Soviet missiles became more capable and submarines lurked off the American coastline, that warning time shrank to mere minutes. This realization troubled President Kennedy greatly. He knew that the United States nuclear strategy, which relied on massive retaliation, could mean total destruction in the event of a nuclear attack. What troubled Kennedy even more was that the decision to launch such a devastating attack could ultimately fall to just one individual, the president. Kennedy, in his famous memo, questioned the practicality and sanity of a system where one person could hold such power over the fate of civilization. He asked how nuclear strike orders could be verified and whether there were safeguards in place to prevent a rash decision. After carefully reflecting on these concerns, Captain Edward Beach, a former naval aide to President Dwight Eisenhower, was tasked with creating the solution: the nuclear football. The birth of the nuclear football. In 1963, around May, the nuclear football was born. It was a portable, heavy-duty briefcase designed to follow the president wherever he went. The briefcase held the codes and instructions necessary to authorize a nuclear strike, ensuring that in the event of an emergency, the president could launch retaliatory strikes if necessary. But the creation of the nuclear football didn't come without questions. Despite having this new capability, the possibility of a president rashly launching a nuclear attack was still a concern. The creation of the football did not mean that the president could simply push a button to start a nuclear war. It was just a tool, one that could only be used within strict protocols. The contents of the nuclear football. The nuclear football is a seemingly ordinary briefcase that holds crucial tools to ensure careful deliberation before any nuclear strike decision is made. Inside, you'll find the Black Book, a 9 by 12-inch book with approximately 75 pages outlining retaliatory strike options for the president in the event of a nuclear attack. Alongside it is a book containing classified site locations, detailing secret sites where the president can be relocated to continue operations if the White House is compromised. The manila folder contains instructions on the emergency alert system, crucial for ensuring proper communication during a nuclear crisis. Finally, the biscuit, a small 3 by 5-inch card, holds the president's unique nuclear codes, enabling authentication and authorization of a nuclear strike. Each item is integral to maintaining security and ensuring the president can respond effectively in a crisis. The nuclear button myth. The concept of a nuclear button is often misunderstood. When President Donald Trump infamously tweeted about his bigger and more powerful nuclear button in 2018, it sparked a great deal of concern about the president's ability to launch a nuclear attack at will. However, contrary to popular belief, there is no literal red button on the president's desk that launches missiles. The process to authorize a nuclear strike is far more complex and involves multiple steps. The president does not have unilateral authority to fire nuclear weapons. Before any strike can be authorized, several procedures must be followed to verify the president's identity, confirm the legitimacy of the strike, and ensure that the order is lawful. The process of nuclear launch authorization. The process begins when the president opens the nuclear football and a command signal or watch alert is sent to the United States Strategic Command and the Joint Chiefs of Staff. From there, the president consults with key advisors, such as the Secretary of Defense, to discuss the various options available in response to a nuclear threat. The president's identity must be verified using the biscuit, the card containing the president's unique nuclear codes. To confirm the president's identity, the Deputy Director of Operations at the National Military Command Center will engage in a secure communication with the president using a daily set of phonetic challenge codes that confirm the authenticity of the president's identity. Once verified, the president can issue the order to launch a nuclear strike, but the process doesn't end there. U.S. military personnel are trained to reject unlawful orders, ensuring that any command is legally sound. As former STRATCOM Commander John Hyten stated, if an unlawful order was ever given, the military would attempt to find legal alternatives or consult with the cabinet to remove the president from office using the 25th Amendment. What if something happens to the president? Given the critical nature of this responsibility, the US has taken steps to ensure continuity of command in case something happens to the president. During the Carter administration, it was decided that the vice president should also have access to a nuclear football. Since then, both the president and vice president have their own briefcases, ensuring that there is always a line of authority in case the president is incapacitated. Interestingly, there are always 3 nuclear footballs in existence, one with the president, one with the vice president, and one kept at the White House. These briefcases are typically carried by a rotating group of military aides from the various branches of the U.S. Armed Forces, each of whom is highly trained and undergoes thorough background checks. These aides are tasked with ensuring that the briefcases are always within arm's reach of the president. The potential dangers of the nuclear football. While the briefcase is a tool designed to protect the nation, it has also been the subject of numerous mishaps and concerns. There have been several instances where the football has been mishandled or misplaced by those responsible for its security. For example, during President Jimmy Carter's time in office, the biscuit was accidentally misplaced in his jacket pocket and was later found when the jacket was sent to be dry cleaned. Similarly, after President Ronald Reagan's assassination attempt in 1981, the football was removed from him during surgery and later discovered on the floor of a hospital emergency room, unsecured and in one of his shoes. These incidents serve as a reminder of the inherent risks and the constant need for vigilance surrounding the nuclear football. The security of such a powerful tool cannot be taken lightly, and any mishap, no matter how small, can have grave consequences. That's all for today's video. If you found this video fascinating and learned something new about the US president's nuclear football, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more insightful content. Feel free to drop your thoughts or any questions in the comments below. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for more amazing videos.